Today is Friday. It is September 8th. We are going to be learning about short stories, and we would like to educate you to make... Sorry, I entertain myself sometimes. I may or may not have issues. Let's see, we get to read our first fun story. Those of you who are dead kids at home, if you go onto this magical place called Canvas, you can download story, or you can just listen because I'll have it up on the screen. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to read it, but that's not a me issue. It is being recorded in 4K, though. And so you can do it, actually it's in 2K, well, whatever, I'm not good at math. But you're going to what story that we're going to get into today, and the back side of your notesy things, we're going to be going through the side over there that says Lady and the Tiger. And so in theory, we'll be giving you almost all the answers. Over here, it does say there's homework. That's only if you're the kid that goes to your happy place during class. If you go to your happy place, you're going to have homework. If your happy place is in my room, you probably need therapy. But at the same time, we're also going to give you a lot of answers. Mohammed!
What about the irony?
We're going to get to that. So I don't want to overwhelm you guys too much with learning, because I know we're just sort of first getting into it. If I throw too much knowledge at you, it'll just poof out the ears. So I think we'll sort of baby step as we get into it. I don't want kids to die yet. Alright, remember, hashtag yellow sheet, because if you want to play tie game, which is fine, then again, you have to actually follow the directions. It's this thing I keep trying to teach kids. For this week, it was football. If you are not aware, there's this sport out there that is starting this weekend that apparently lots of people enjoy. And so I figured I would wear it for the start of football. Last night, the Detroit Lions won for like the third time in history. And they beat the defending Super Bowl champions, so oopsie balls. But anyway, sports is not specific enough, so if I wear a tie, you're going to have to be a bit more specific with your guesses. Cutter!
Why don't you wear a soccer tie?
Because soccer sucks.
I will when we get farther into
Just soccer's better.
Did you just make fun of soccer?
So bad. It's not bad. Soccer is better than football.
What?
So bad.
I play
American
soccer
football is
also.
trash.
I want soccer.
American football is trash. It's not trash, but soccer is better.
Home children, again, I just figured I'd show you directions. Don't shush them. You just let them talk on that. There you go. You let them dig themselves down. Yeah, not even close, John. Hi, Libbles.
You said you played on a soccer team.
I play on one right now. I play in the adult league.
Are you good?
So, no.
Oh. What position do you play?
I mean, sorry, I meant, let me think about it.
What position do you play?
I'm defense, mid-back, and then sometimes
What
keep
is
a
that?
back.
Oh, dang, you're good.
Defense, mid-back.
So you
in the middle of defense.
Correct.
So you do nothing.
I know, I do something. Just not,
Do you score?
I'm a striker.
you don't know how defense works?
So you're not that
Yes,
good.
I am the leading scorer from back next to our goal.
Oh.
They kick the ball to me, and I just go,
Harry
boom, and
Maguire.
sing right into
If
the
you
goal
could
every
score,
time.
then how bad are the players?
It's
Apparently
Harry
some of us are
Maguire.
really confused on how soccer works.
He's gonna do Harry
Hi, Mohammed.
It's Harry
Wait.
Maguire.
Is it a team full of kids?
No. Well, it is. It's me and like a bunch of 4-year-olds, so that's like how I win, and I'm still not the best player on the team. Man, they're good. Like they run around me, I'm like just kicking kids half the time, like. But no, it's me and a bunch of.
Are you versing Hezbollah?
So, no, it's like it's an 18 and older league, so it's like college kids.
Have you ever versed Hezbollah?
Fine, I'll charge you points.
Oh no, I'm not talking.
Yeah, now you're not talking. Mr. Brovicast, all my points are gone. It's weird how that works out. Maybe you can feel inspired by young Libels here, who's going to try and help you out. Is that a thing? That's my dreams come true. All right, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. And then that kid right there. And let's begin. Blah, blah. So we have this, and hi, Cotter.
Why don't you use points
For what? I don't do anything wrong. I'm perfect. Yeah. No. That's funny. Alright, so we have this parts for good, making sure we have the parts from yesterday. So don't you turn that. Alright, you need to turn it over real quick to take a look, because we're going to have your souls talk to me in a moment, and we're going to see what's in there. Although, I mean, we know no matter how much you stare at it, nothing's going to go into your head, so you're fine on that one. So prove me wrong. Alright, so we'll see what.
What's that?
It's called a sassy snap? How do you not know what a sassy snap is? The bank. It's right there. It's all. Anyway, back to here. Let's go to theme. Goal. What is theme, or what are we supposed to get from theme? Theme. Low key, like it. Do you remember what we learned about themes. You don't remember what lesson we taught about it? Nothing that you feel like you've learned from it. No lesson that was connected. No lesson that you felt you learned at all from it.
The main
What is the main word you should say?
learn.
You did learn something, Cole. I have faith in you the whole time. Oh, it's right there already. Nicely done. That was some solid bonding on that one. And then we get to internal conflict. Rylan. So here, what is the main definition of internal conflict? I know. You're having trouble deciding what it is. But if you give yourself time, I think you'll come up with it.
Never use the word not.
That is an answer. That is not the definition of internal conflict.
And change your decision.
Hey, that sounds much better. And Rylan, while we're at it, what word should we not use?
Not.
I figured we might as well just throw that one in there for funsies. I'm with you on that one. So the major decision, and then Rylan already... I did out of order. All right, you got lucky. So now when I call on Jackson and I say, Jackson, how are we supposed to write internal conflict? Jackson will say, nicely done. So, and then what word we can't use is not. We can help you out from there and things. And then Libby, let's go.
I think the point of it was to know.
Hi, Libby. What is, you're fine. What is the definition of external conflict? Channel your inner Rylan.
You're reading it.
Can you not read the handwriting of that kid?
I wrote it.
Yeah, I know. I was making fun of you. I'm sorry. I thought I picked up on that. I was trying to play it off.
Looking at the definition.
What was that? Sorry. I know. You're mad at me. We're going to end up fighting.
Yeah, he got it.
Well, no, I have faith in Libby. She's not going to give. Don't you fight her about this.
She's not gonna take answers.
Don't you do that.
You have a sign up.
The bottle.
So,
Oh, it's up there. It's also down there. Things in the story.
so here's where Libby is helping to educate others. Make sure whoever wrote your notes wrote it in a language that you can read. Because if you're looking for a bottle of something when it comes time for external conflict, that may cause an issue instead of getting into a battle with somebody and you just pull out some soda and you're like, here you go, that's going to confuse them. And then to continue from there, Johnny, how are we supposed to write an external conflict?
Blank versus blank.
Nicely done. And that's where the versus comes in on that one. So go you. Now we have knowledge. Let's see how we do. On backside of paper, that some of you should already be looking at. Look at the side of it that I think it's the left side. It says Lady and the Tiger. I would recommend pencil for this. If you have one, it's fine. But there is a chance you may make mistakes. And if you make mistakes, pencils will come in more handy than pen. But you can always do scribble, scribble, scratch, scratch. Are you wanting to go over there and switch out your pen? That's fine with me. I'll try not to make fun of you. But as you go through, hopefully you can figure out the characters in the story. And then you're going to figure out setting, plot. If you feel you understand things as we go through it, you can feel a little sassy. And you can do the internal, external conflicts theme and stuff like that. But I can help you with it. Hopefully you can figure out point of view. But as we go through, I will not be just going through and going, did you write down that this is the character? Did you write down that this is the setting? Because that's not fun learning. I'm going to teach you a story, and we're going to see how much penetrates your brain. So this is going to require that whole listening and processing and thinking thing. Some people call it, what was that word they used? Teaching. And so that's what we're going to try here. So let's begin with a story about a lady and a tiger. Home children, it'll be up there on the screen behind me, and even though it's recorded in 2K, which is half as good as 4K, I don't know how well you can read it, so again, it's on Canvas if you need to download the story. Those of you who are real people, I will be helping you out and going through and reading. I will be stopping. I'm not going to read the whole chunk, but I will do a thing and then stop. Again, your souls will be speaking to me, because I will stop partway through and then suddenly go, Nathan, what do you think is the location where it's taking place? And we can sort of see how well you can figure out things from there. So again, you are welcome to go to your happy place, but your happy place may come back to haunt you, because that's how souls work. All right. The Lady and the Tiger. Once, in a kingdom long ago, where ancient customs prevailed, a gardener's son dared, by the way, you have the story in front of you, for those of you who don't want to look up here, it's not now. A gardener's son dared to love the king's only daughter, the Princess Royal. That was bad enough, but as luck would have it, the princess loved the boy in return, and that was worse. Now, of course, the two never had a chance to actually speak to each other, but they exchanged many glances and occasionally blew each other an unseen kiss when they hoped nobody was looking. It's okay, it's PG, settle down. They both knew that loving each other was not right, but they loved each other all the same. Now, here's the part you might be thinking those are main characters. We don't know yet, so hold on to those. They may be main characters, they may just be like random people, so we'll find out. Oh, how they long to speak to each other, to whisper loving things to each other, or even, as hardly bore speaking of, kiss each other. Still, for many months, they were happy with their secret love, gazing from afar at each other. But at about the same time, the princess and the boy realized that this was not enough. When he helped out in the garden, the boy spent more and more time under the windows of the princess's royal chambers. And the princess spent more and more of her time looking out her windows, hoping for a moment when the two could finally speak. I will tell you, we do have two of the main characters so far. The two main characters being?
The princess and the boy.
There you go. The princess and the boy. Also, we kind of know where it's taking place, because where's our story taking place?
The kingdom.
Kingdom and work. We can also be slightly more specific where in the kingdom?
The castle?
The castle.
I would take that. In sort of the castle kingdom are kind of the same thing. Where in the wait, no, we're not there yet. That was my fault for reading it. Oh, and you're going to find out more about the wind in this next part. So we'll give you a little bit more. We already know part of the wind because it tells you like wind throughout time, future, past, present. But we're going to get even more specific. Johnny?
Does the king count as a character?
He has not shown up yet. All right. One lovely spring day, the longed-for moment finally arrived. The princess was in her sitting room staring out the window, and her maids had retired at her command. The gardener's son was weeding near the palace walls, and the other gardeners were out of sight around the corner. And the boy drew near the princess's window just as she looked down. The princess leaned out the window, the boy stood up, and the two were just inches away. And finally the boy said the first thing he had ever said directly to the princess. "I love you," he said simply. "I love you," the princess replied. But that was their undoing, for as she spoke, the door to her bedroom opened, and who should enter but the king himself. Hearing her words, he strode to the window and caught the unfortunate gardener's son still standing outside the window, smiling upwards. Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. So yes, Johnny, we have now met our third main character. And who is our third main character? Nicely done. Now, for those of you who may be confused, you're in luck. I have Brovicast to help you out. And hopefully that's going to help everything come together. So starting off, where's our story taking place?
Kingdom.
Nicely done.
Royal chamber to top.
So far, taking place in a kingdom. Hi, what's up,
Why
Ray?
did I write this in the plot?
It's up to you. And the plot, well, for the plot, I'd probably hold off on that because we don't know what the important stuff is yet. So that's usually when you want to wait till you get to the end. You can probably do you can do line number 1, whatever you think the most important thing to start the story is. But beyond that, I would wait because I'm not giving you number 3. And then let's see, specifically, where in our kingdom is it taking place?
The castle.
We already have the castle.
Room.
Whose room?
The princess.
There you go. So we have the princess's bedroom. And what's right outside the princess's bedroom?
The garden.
And that's where the garden is, right outside. So kind of we have the princess's room, garden, kind of being connected to each other. And then we have our main characters. Who's our main characters?
King, daughter, and then garden boy.
Oh, sorry. Dang it. What season would it be?
Spring.
Wait, aside from my picture, what evidence do you have? Because for all you know, I'm lying to you. Neve.
It says one lovely spring day.
There you go. Right in the story, at the start of paragraph 3, it says one lovely spring day. Now I think it's my character. There's my princess. There's my gardener's son. Then, if I remember our story correctly from there, as they went into it, Brennan, let's back up. Before I get to Brennan, Charles, how do they feel about each other?
They like each other.
Yeah. Not just like each other.
No.
This might be a to-like category. So it might be like each other. So there is definitely a high level of likeage going on. Have they talked to each other?
Yes.
I'm sorry, up to this final scene, have they talked to each other?
No.
Correct. This is a very much a 7th grade romance, where all they're doing is looking at each other from across the room and going, but then they don't like actually talk to each other because that would freak them out. They'd run away screaming. But for the most part, you just look at them and you think happy thoughts from a distance. But then finally, they get to say their first words to each other, Brennan. And what are the first words they say to each other? Brennan, thank you. It's okay. It's too... And so they finally get a chance. So much fun. They get a chance to say their first words to each other, which is, I love you. And she goes, I love you too. But right as she speaks, we introduce our 3rd character. And the 3rd character is?
King Daddy.
And that's where King Daddy, that's weird, comes running in. And he is not happy about this because he only catches one of them saying the words. Which one does he catch?
Daughters.
He catches the daughter saying it. He walks in to see his daughter leaning out the window going, I love you, outside to the window. And all of a sudden, that's when he runs out there and looks out and realizes who she's saying it to. The problem is, let's back up. Do you know what the problem is with the two of them loving each other?
One is royalty, one is just a worker.
She's royalty.
Yes. Poor people can't love rich people. That's why we have the Kardashians. So because of that, it is illegal for him to love her. She can love him. Rich people can love whoever they want. Hashtag Kardashian. But he can't love her. That's not the way it works. So when he sees his daughter say it, does he know if the boy said it?
No.
Now, if the boy said it, we get to kill him. Because it's illegal and a death penalty to love a princess. But if he's innocent, then he has to let him go. So the king doesn't know if the boy's innocent or guilty. So if you don't know if someone's innocent or guilty, what do we have to do?
Take him to court.
They can take them to court.
Turns out our king has a special courtroom. He doesn't believe in things like judges and juries and trials. He believes in doors.
Door?
Door number.
Let's find out.
I'll read.
Johnny, no, but a good try.
Wait, no, it's actual. For the when in settings, would it be medieval times?
Sure.
Okay.
Justice in this kingdom was swift, and in the eyes of this most just of kings was always fair. There was but one method of dealing with all serious offenses, and it was used on everybody, rich or poor, minister or gardener's son. The king had a large arena built right on the palace grounds. Prisoners were led into the center of the arena, where they were faced with 2 large doors. The prisoner was then to choose one of the doors and open it. Behind one door was always a lovely lady, and behind the other, a fearsome tiger. The doors were well padded, so there was no way to hear the roars or rumblings of the ferocious beast behind one door. And nobody but the king himself ever knew behind which door was concealed the lady, and behind which the tiger. If the prisoner opened the door with the lady, he was married on the spot and immediately rose to a powerful position in the kingdom. If he opened the door with the tiger, well, he'd be eaten by the fierce beast. Thus, felt the king, the fates alone would determine the guilt or innocence of the prisoner. Daring to love the king's daughter was, of course, a serious crime, and being loved in return only compounded the offense. The gardener's son was arrested on the spot and led to prison to await his turn in the arena. But as he was led away, he saw the princess form a few words with her lips. Trust me, she breathed. So he retained a glimmer of hope. So to explain, we have a 2-door system that this guy believes in. And he does not know if the gardener's son is innocent or guilty. If he knew the kid was guilty, he would just stab him and be done with it. He was like, Happy Friday! And stab him. But for all he knows, this kid is innocent. So he's going to give him the 2-door trial. If the kid is guilty, what pops out of the door?
Tiger.
Roar! And it gets to eat him on his head and give him a big old kiss with teeth. If the boy is innocent, what pops out of the other door?
Lady.
Hubba Hubba Hot Chick. And now he gets to marry Hubba Hubba Hot Chick, and he gets to be with her forever and ever and ever, and things are great. Except for the fact that, does he love Hubba Hubba Hot Chick?
No.
Who does he love?
Tiger.
Or
Woman.
the ones who are not Johnny, he loves Princess, who is up there. So no matter what, he's not going to be with the chick that he likes. But why does he not give up hope?
Never give up.
Who says that?
Nikki 30.
The Princess was like, don't give up hope. And that's when she speaks up to him. So here's where we're going to find out wait, by the way, do you guys know if he's innocent or guilty?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, he's guilty.
Which one is he?
Guilty.
So which door is he going to open?
Tiger.
So that's the problem, is she knows he's guilty, and he knows he's guilty, and obviously if we believe in our two-door system, we know what's going to pop out of that door, and he's like, I'm going to die. But hopefully, this is where she says, trust me, and we're going to find out. And you should always be scared of a teenage girl with crafty ideas. Yeah. As he waited, however, his hopes faded. At the same time, the king grew more and more pleased with himself and his system of justice. Both had the same thoughts. Whatever the outcome, the boy would be forever separated from the princess. For if he chose the lady, he would of course be married on the spot and thus forfeit forever his chances of marrying anybody else. And if he chose the tiger, he would not live another 10 minutes. While the boy was languishing in the prison and the king was feeling pleased with himself, the princess was very busy. By the evening of the day, the prisoner was to be led out to the area. She had managed by stealth and trickery to discover what normally only the king knew. Which door would contain the tiger and which the lady. All that next night she tossed and turned. What should she tell her love? She didn't know how to decide. If he chose the lady, how could she bear to watch him there, married on the spot, happy beyond words at his escape from death, and then to see him forever around the palace with new power and respect, but forever further out of reach than she could bear? Would it not be better to end things quickly and then meet him once again in that other world to which all are finally taken? But oh, how could she possibly condemn him to the horrible death of the tiger's teeth and claws, the screams, the blood? Sorry, I got emotional. So, with story, what is it Princess manages to find out?
Which door has tiger and hubba hubba hot?
So she now knows which door is which thing. But she can't switch them. She can't change anything because then her dad will find out that she knows. So she has to keep it a secret. So she can't switch it. All she can do is decide. Seems like you guys should be paying attention to the word decide. Decide which of the two doors she should be pointing to. Should she watch him get married to Hubba Hubba Hot Chick? Or should she watch him get killed and eaten by a tiger? So now she has to sit there and decide, which one do I want to do? Watch the man I love get married to some other hottie, or watch the man I love get torn to little pieces by a tiger? Johnny?
For the major decision and internal conflict, what I do with lady or...
I don't know. You do whatever you want. We're going to talk about it at the end. That's how learning works. Cutter!
The point of view, do you feel like first person, third person?
You mean like what the answers to point of view are? Yes. There you go. So, by a quick show of hands, out of curiosity, if you had this decision and the person you had big crush on was getting ready to have to choose a door, and you were going to decide whether to send them to go marry Hubba Hubba Hot Girl or Hubba Hubba Hot Dude, depending on your preference, or have them get killed by Tiger, I'm going to see which way you guys are going to go. So those of you who say, watch them get married Hubba Hubba, watch them get eaten by Tiger, oh good God. Okay, well, I guess those of you who didn't vote, you're just going to sit there and go, sucks to be you, and just watch them walk up there?
But the frosted flakes guy is cool.
Yeah, he is. All right, well,
You can just switch back.
hope you can't. That's the problem we're going to get to, is you can't switch anything out, because if you do, who's going to know you did it?
The king.
And then you're out of luck, and he's going to redo the whole thing. Your only options are Hubba Hubba Hottie or Deathy Deathy Deathy. And apparently all... So hopefully you guys all looked around, and you were like, if there's any Hubba Hubbas in here, you're like, you're going to get me killed. I'm just saying if. And then, yeah, careful. If you ever choose to go out with someone in first period, you're going to die. All right, so then back to here. Just, PSA, trying to help them out. But let's find out what happens at the end. The princess did not sleep all night. By morning, she knew what she would do. She rose and dressed, and presently was sitting at her father's side in the arena, waiting for the prisoner to be let out. The boy came striding boldly out, which means confidently, and as was the custom, he walked directly over towards the king and bowed. As he stood up, he stole one brief glance at the princess. One glance was enough. She sat calmly and with dignity, but almost unnoticed, she made a quick motion with her right hand. Without waiting or thinking, the gardener's son walked instantly to the right-hand door and opened it. And now, dear reader, I ask you the same question the princess asked herself for all those long, agonizing hours of the final night. What was her decision? Which came out, the lady or the tiger? That's how the story ends. It just leaves you
I
hanging.
know who it was.
Is it the kid losing points for yelling at me again who learned slowly? It could be so many. So on this one, it never tells you which one is chosen. That's what makes it such a fun classic story. It's up to you, because if he chose the one with Hubba Hubba Hot Chick, all the first period would be sad because you wanted to see a death. And for those of you who wanted death, for the two people who don't want to see a person they love killed, they'd be like, oh no! So now you get to write the story in your head. And for most of you, it's him screaming and body parts flying in different directions while you just sit there and giggle and clap, apparently, because y'all need therapy. But we're going to get to that here in a little bit. So here, by the way, he does not pick this one necessarily, because I have kids go, he's going to die. Because I put both of them up there so we can switch back and forth, because we don't know which door it's going to be. So for all we know, right door is Hubba Hubba Girl, or right door could be Growl, 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 Growl. All right, so now that was our story. Let's see how well you have come up with stuff so we can help you. Because next week when we have quiz, you're going to have to read a story and figure this all out on your own. But I figured for now, let's help you out. So we'll throw out, for those of you who know it, you should be able to help those kids who struggled. Those of you who struggled, here's what we're going to try and make you a little bit smarter. It's teamwork, just like the Wonder Pets tell us. So first off, who are our three characters?
Princess, Gardener, King.
There you go. And then remember, you have to have a description of each character. A description that does not fit any other character. So to help you with that, when Daxon comes up with for his description of princess, he can't say, I don't know, a person, because that would describe all three of them. So then Daxon, how would you describe the princess?
The only princess.
Good, but you can't define her with what her name is. Just like I can't say Daxon is the only Daxton. Have faith, Ian. Daxton's going to get there.
The only one that likes the army.
I would accept that one, because definitely the king does not seem to like him. I went for discovers the door's secrets, because she's the only one that figures it out. I mean, technically the boy does when he opens the door. He's like, oh no! But I mean, that's a whole different issue. Then we can jump to Giggy, the gardener's son. How would you describe the gardener's son?
Gardener.
Good job, Daxton, too. So you can't describe. Give me a guess. You wrote down king for king? Yeah. So these are demonstrations of things we should not do that are going to come back to haunt you. Giggy, what else does gardener's son do in story that we can use to help people out?
Die.
We don't know he dies. That's just in your dream. Other people may not be that person. Don't you pout at me because he's not dead. Yeah, you have your own weekend plans. So, how does the gardener's son feel? What does he do? Does he do anything in the story? I'm still talking to Giggs. Have faith in her. At the end of story, does he do anything? We stop being Neve.
He chooses something at the end.
I don't think
I went for trust the princess. Don't worry, Giggs. You're not done. You get another one.
No.
Don't you know me? I'm sorry. You meant to say I know it. That's what you were saying. I understand. You're like, know it. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Can I put choose his right hand?
So your description does not have to match mine. This is just what I came up with.
Mean man. What's in garden?
For the gardener's son, you called him mean?
Choose his right hand.
Oh, for the king. I thought it was like, you not really want that kid dead. All right, so for that one, Giggy, how are you going to describe the king? That works for that one too. How does the king figure out if people are innocent or guilty?
he kills them. Doors.
What system does he use?
Doors.
There you go. So I put uses two-door justice system. Can you put loves the princess?
Yeah. No, because the boy also loves the
There you go. Because in theory, the boy also loves the princess. Because he comes right out and says, I love the princess.
I just put general character descriptions, like for the princess, I put the classic perfect girl cliche. And for the boy, I put the classic flawed character that loves the perfect character cliche. You know.
But the king also loves the perfect character. I
Does he
know.
though?
No, I have the like two characters in the cliche.
I know.
And
With our when and where. Let's go to when does it take place throughout all of time?
medieval times.
Works for me. And then, as Neve pointed out, the other when? Good job. The springtime in the day. You already did kingdom. And what did you guys say for the other where?
castle.
The garden.
The garden prince. And at the very end,
The doors.
The arena.
there you go, the arena. Why are you giving me frowny face?
So I said the other stuff.
Oh, that's fine. As long as what you said was correct. We're trying to go on that.
Arena.
All right.
Garden.
Plot! So, Earl, what did you come down with for your very first thing for plot?
So the prince, so is it spring day?
Yep, that's the setting, but not the plot. The plot's what happens. What happens on that spring day?
The princess and the garden boy share words.
Works for me. I put boy and girl meet and fall in love. Cotter,
I wanted to do the next one.
number 5.
Number 2.
We go to number 5. We do the very beginning, and you jump to the very end. What's the very last thing that happens, Cotter?
He chooses the right hand door.
Perfect. Girl points to right door, and boy opens it. Guys do very beginning, very end. That makes things easier. Because then I'll give you number 3.
I don't know what they is.
The two doors are explained.
Fine.
Okay.
Huh?
Because that would be the middle of the story.
Number 3, I put the king catches the ball.
Well, what would number 2 be then?
No, that would be number 2. Number
Exactly.
2 is the girl and boy meet.
So this is the
That's
drawback
what
to you
one
doing going from 1 down to 5 is that you end up using too much of the story early on. So that's why I have found you the very beginning, very end, and middle. It makes things easier.
So did I miss it? Oh, so.
It's up to you, as long as you know how it works. So what would number 2 be then? If we have the boy and girl meet and fall in love, and then we have to explain our justice system, why are we explaining a justice system that's going to come between those two things? Cole?
The girl got caught.
Doing what?
I love you.
There you go. King catches girl saying love. And then number 3 is the two doors are explained. And then number 5 is going to be the girl has to point to the right-hand door. How does she know to point to the right-hand door?
She finds out which door the people are on.
There you go. Girl discovers secret of the doors. Look at that. That's all 5.
Well, that was so hard.
I know. You know, there is a video you can just take a look at, too. It's okay. That's how learning works. Yours doesn't have to be perfect. I was just trying to help you guys get it. We're going to take a look at point of view next. Let's see. You don't have to raise your hand. You can hold up what you think it is.
Oh,
So those of you saying third person omniscient, for it to be omniscient, is there a scene that the princess is not in? Because it starts off following princess and boy. And is there a scene where we don't see the princess? Where?
when the boy is in the arena and he's thinking of what door to choose.
No, but she's still
She's
there.
on the top.
Because she's
Her and
the,
the king are on the top. Like
that is
the
true.
But then the boy is also in every scene.
No, he's not. Yes, he is.
Uh-oh. Mohammed?
Oh, would it be at night? Because she said that she found out which door it was at night.
I'd accept that too. There's one of the settings. I can see that. What do you mean for the point? The point of view is the first third, limited third unknown. But that would work for part of the setting. I am going to agree it's omniscient.
Yeah.
You were on the right track, but there's the scene where the boy is languishing in prison and ready to give up, and he's not sure I can keep going. Well, the princess is not in prison with him, so that'd be silly.
Oh,
For our theme, I'm not really sure there's a good thing that learns here, but there is an emotion that all the characters feel.
love.
Can you tell me, if our theme is love, how does the king demonstrate love?
By loving his daughter and killing the boy.
How does that you can't just go around always killing who your daughter loves. How is it showing love?
He wants to protect her.
That would be more.
Yeah.
Today,
What do you guys feel which characters under the point of view?
on this one, you would just select the girl and the boy. And technically the king, probably all three. I just put everybody acts out of love in the story. The girl loves the boy loves the girl, and then the king loves the princess because he does not want her marrying a scrub. Just like TLC saying.
Above the third person Omni, when they said which characters, do we just follow the characters?
Yeah, the same question Eve asked.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I was in my happy place.
So you only have a little bit left. I just left you the two conflicts. We're going to see how well you can figure out the major decision that one of the characters has to make, and who it is that fights each other in the story.
Do we have to do the other story?
Nope, we were going to do that next week together.
Hey, look.
All you had to do is finish those last two.
You get to choose.
Yay.